First of all, Abraham, thank you for being with us today. My question relates to why has it taken so long for me to learn what the purpose of my emotions are?
Well, in fairness, it hasn't taken so long in the sense that at one time you really knew it, but you were just a diligent human who believed others when they said that what they felt was more important than what you felt. In other words, that's how it happens. People who are diligently doing their best to feel better by controlling the conditions around them convince everyone around them, especially if they have any power, and usually parents do, and teachers do, and churches do. And so there are so many who approach you who want to feel better by controlling conditions, and so they convince you, and usually pretty easily, that you should do what is instructed rather than what you are feeling. It's an interesting thing. We were visiting with someone very recently who was talking about a child. And we said, it's interesting to watch so many parents because at first you see yourself as the one in charge of their well-being. And because they're little and they don't know much the ways of this life experience yet, you take it upon yourself to think for them and to make decisions for them. And without realizing it, what you're saying to them is, you can't trust your own decisions. And so then the backlash of that for parents is that once they've taught the child that you can't trust your decisions, instead you must trust my decisions, then you've put them in the position where they trust almost everybody's decisions rather than their own. So it's very easy to hand them off to a teacher or off to something else where they just don't trust themselves because they've been taught not to trust themselves from a very early age. It happens with almost all of you. Earlier we acknowledged that the little ones who are coming forth now, and even the generation before and the one before that, were less ready to just turn their lives over to someone else. And adults call that rebellion in children. And we call it maintaining one's own guidance. But when you say, so how is it that it took me so long in understanding the importance of my emotions? You knew when you were born, and it was just trained out of you because you didn't want to be one of the rebellious ones. You wanted to be one who was appreciated. In other words, almost all humans are conformists to a certain extent as they are socialized. So it's in the socialization of each other that you sort of train that sensitivity out.
Yes, and I'm puzzled why that is so. I mean, I was given a physical body. Its purpose is pretty obvious to me, and how to operate it is fairly obvious to me. And I was given a mind. Its purpose is fairly obvious, and I have some idea of how to operate it. I've spent my whole life wondering, why was I given these emotions, which in so much of my experience have been a hindrance, or
they're only a hindrance to the others who then make it a hindrance to you. In other words, it is perplexing, isn't it? How can I not know that I can feel which way to go? How did I lose trust in that? And we say, because you superimpose that trust in all the wrong places. And so then we can feel the power of your question. It's sort of, why would it happen to so many of us? Why would our guidance system not be more clear? And we say, well, you are pleasers, and you're pleasing the hand that feeds you, so to speak. And you're listening to those around you. And then you say, but why would I go so long before I remember or I recognize? And we say, we don't think it's as bleak as that. We think that you naturally, instinctually have always known to gravitate toward what feels best. And in fact, relative to many things, do. we're just giving you a sort of refresher course. And it doesn't hurt to have had some experience that then makes the words that you hear from us now even more relevant. And it is also seen from non-physical that you can't get too far off track. In other words, life really is unfolding much in the way that you anticipated that it would as you decided to come forth. And we're not here to save your lives. Your lives don't need saving. We're just here to remind you of how good life is supposed to feel. We're just here to remind you of the power of who you are. And incidentally, it's interesting that we are here because of the power of your asking. In other words, in less fragmented times, in less controversial times, in less times of upheaval, you aren't asking with the power that you are now, you see. And so now you're just asking with a greater power, and you're close enough in recognition that you are hearing the answer. We think a really good question for you to ask from your current perspective is, how is it that I am one of the rare humans who somehow managed to stay close enough to vibrational proximity of that which I really am, that I have made my way to this leading edge seminar?
Thank you.
Because much of the world, even though they are really wanting an understanding, they are so far apart from being able to hear about vibrations and understand about law of attraction, they'd much rather continue to control circumstances. Most of the world still would rather control circumstances. So, and you can see that as your amendments are put up for vote, or your propositions are put up for vote, as you say, do you choose self-empowerment, or do you choose locking up everybody that gets in your way? Oh, well, of course I'd like to be self-empowered, but first let's lock up everybody that gets in my way. Do you choose creating your own reality, or do you choose asking everyone else just to not mess up your reality? Well, creating my own reality seems nice, but what can we do about keeping them all from messing up my reality? Oh yes, let's put 10 more laws on the books today and 10 more tomorrow. Let's try to control the environment so that I can live a better life. And we say, it's only a few of you who will really come to the place of really deciding that you are going to control your reality by controlling your vibration, which law of attraction is responding to. And that's why all of your life you have been more sensitive to emotions than most people you know. Because you came forth understanding vibration at a deeper, stronger level than most people.
Thank you.